New Orleans Saints fan and season ticket holder is suing the team over the National Anthem protests because he says the political statement is ruining the stadium experience. So, does he have a case? Joining me now is former federal attorney Emily Compagno. Thanks for joining us this morning. You also have a sports legal background. So, what was your reaction to this? Because in the lawsuit, I understand that the fan, Lee Dragna, says, quote, that, the players would use Saints football games as a platform for protests, and he didn't know that going into this season, but this started last season, so I think no one really knew what was going to happen this season, Emily.
Right. Look, this lawsuit does not stand a chance, and it's not just because I'm a Raiders fan that I'm saying that. Now, his argument is actually kind of clever. He argues that it was the fans around him that became so unruly and so enraged at the players' protest of the anthem that undercut the value of his ticket, and he was unable to bring his clients and his family to future games. And he argues that the owners of the Saints condoning the practice, that they were there on the hook as well. But unfortunately for him, neither the law nor the facts are on his side.
I mean, look, I think it's fair to say a lot of people are upset about this. A lot of people are not going to games because of this. A lot of people won't even turn on games on their TV because of this. So I think there's a fair argument that it's upset a lot of people, but it's also up to you to decide not to want to go to the game, correct?
Exactly. And here's the deal. Number one, the Saints players actually only protested one game. That was on the road, week 3 at Carolina. At home, they stood in solidarity during every anthem and knelt in solidarity prior to it. So factually, he actually doesn't have a case here. Secondly, there's a code of conduct both with the ticket holders and with any attendee in the Superdome there that prohibits unruly behavior. And it's incumbent upon him as a season ticket holder to inform security guards if he sees unruly behavior so they can corroborate it and remove those fans. In terms of the value, the market price holds. So subjectively, courts can't reward behavior or others' subjective analysis of the ticket value. If someone's not having a good time, it doesn't impact the actual market price of the ticket. And there's a waiting list for the Superdome tickets. And finally, courts are loath to find that distal of a connection between ownership and the franchise and fans' enjoyment. Remember the 49ers-Raiders game a few years ago, a fan there was shot, and even then the courts refused to find a correlation with the franchises knowing of the dangerous situation of those games, that game in particular, every year, and didn't reward the plaintiff anything. So here there's no way this suit will succeed.
And a lot of people chiming in on this, and actually one of the Saints running backs chimed in as well on Twitter. Mark Ingram had a response saying, quote, the one time we protested an anthem was an away game. After a team meeting, we decided to kneel as one before the anthem was played and stand united as one during the anthem. Good luck, dude. Emily, do you think this is something we're going to see more of? Because as I mentioned, a lot of people are really upset over this.
Right. We might see attempts, but the law just simply doesn't back it up. The courts will not reward, again, the subjective analysis, this subjective argument that the tickets are valueless, because every fan has an option. Note that these ticket holders have the option of reselling their tickets or declining future packets. So they're not at a loss in any way. There's always options, and they have other courses of action to pursue.
Emily, thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate it. And I guess, hey, he could have tried to sell those tickets to try to gain some of the $8,000 back. We'll see what happens.
Exactly.